Am I in the Caribbean? Or am I in Maldives? Or maybe Thailand? No, it's the Caribbean of Europe. Hola and bienvenido a España, and welcome to the lovely island of Fuerteventura and the lovely city of Morro Jable. Let's explore! Welcome to one of the most unique islands in Europe, part of the Canary Islands. The Spanish island is actually located just off the coast of Africa, right opposite Morocco. Most people know Tenerife or Gran Canaria, but Fuerteventura feels completely different. After landing, we picked up our rental car from Top Car, which we booked through booking.com. One thing we really liked, the rental office is located literally right outside the arrivals exit, across the street from the airport terminal, so the process was super convenient and super quick. Having a car in Fuerteventura is absolutely essential, as the island is much bigger than we originally expected. The landscape here is wild, raw, volcanic and almost otherworldly, with semi-desert scenery that sometimes looks like Mars, rather than Spain. It's also known as the Windy Island because of the strong Atlantic winds that attract surfers and kite surfers from all over the world. And getting here from Europe is surprisingly easy. From Switzerland, our flight took only around 3.5 hours. So today, we'll take you on a road trip across Fuerteventura, discovering hidden beaches, local towns, volcanic landscapes, amazing food, and authentic island life. Let's go! We decided to stay in Morro Jable, located on the southern tip of the island. The drive from the airport took us about 1.5 hours, but honestly, we didn't mind at all. The views along the way were incredible. Finally, we arrived in Morro Jable. We chose a local apartment right in the center of town, only about a 3-minute walk from the beach. The apartment itself was super spacious. It had 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, bathroom, rooftop terrace, private laundry room, and even a beach equipment like the sun umbrella. But our favorite spot was definitely the balcony. Every morning we could sit here with a coffee overlooking the city and the ocean, and in the evening the sunsets were absolutely beautiful. This turned out to be one of our favorite things about the trip. Morro Jable still feels authentic. It's not overly touristy, and you can really experience local Canarian life here. You see neighbors talking to each other in the streets, local cafes full of regulars, children playing outside. It has a very relaxed atmosphere. Downstairs from our apartment there was a small local cafe, and of course we had tried the famous barraquito, a traditional Canary Islands coffee. Walking through Morro Jable is honestly such a vibe. There are pedestrian streets full of little cafes, local shops, murals, and colorful graffiti art. One of the best viewpoints is located on the top of the hill next to the church, where you get an amazing panoramic view over the bay. And the beach here, wow! Soft golden sand like powder, crystal clear turquoise water, and a huge coastline perfect for long walks. For dinner one evening we visited Vesubio restaurant. Even though the reviewers weren't perfect, the ocean view was amazing and we got to try some local dishes like fried calamari and pimientos de padrón. And if you love pizza, definitely check out Marty and Davide Pizzeria right next to the beach. Eating fresh focaccia and pepperoni pizza with ocean views? That's hard to beat. The next day, it was time for a road trip. Our first stop, Playa de Sotavento. This is probably one of the most famous beaches in Fuerteventura, especially known for kitesurfing and windsurfing, thanks to the constant strong winds and huge shallow lagoons. Close to Morro Jable, there is a beautiful lookout, Playa de Sotavento. Amazing. At low tide, the water creates incredible natural pools and sandbars that stretch for kilometers. It honestly looks unreal from above. Unfortunately for us, the weather was quite cloudy that day, so we didn't stay very long. But even then, that beach was still impressive. As we continued driving, we suddenly spotted camels near the road. Of course we had to stop. Seeing camels in Spain feels pretty surreal at first. But because Fuerteventura is so close to Africa, the landscape and atmosphere here feel very connected to the Sahara region. Another interesting thing you notice while driving around the island are the many abandoned stone buildings and traditional old houses. Some of them have been left untouched for decades. It's fascinating to stop and imagine what life on the island looked like many years ago, before the tourism arrived. While passing through small villages, we decided to stop at a local cafe for coffee. And this is exactly why we love road trips like this. The coffee cost just €1. The atmosphere was super local, and on the cafe walls there were old photographs showing how the town has changed over the years. Right opposite the cafe was a traditional town center with a church in the middle, classic Canarian style. This was in Tenerife, a quiet historic town located inland in the southeast of the island. Tenerife played an important role in the island's history, especially during battles against British attacks in the 18th century. Today it's peaceful, authentic, and gives you a glimpse into the traditional island life away from the touristy areas. At this point during the trip, we actually got a little lost, and honestly, that's often when you discover the best places. That's how we ended up in Casillas del Ángel. This tiny little village near Puerto del Rosario is surrounded by volcanic landscapes and traditional agriculture. It's a very quiet place where time seems to move slower, and moments like this are what made this trip feel so special. In case you need to do some emergency shopping, there's Aldi here. Yay. And don't forget to try the little bananas that come from here, from Gran Canaria. One thing you absolutely need to try in the Canary Islands are the local Canarian bananas. They're smaller, sweeter, and much more flavorful than regular bananas. Interestingly, many of them never reach mainland Europe because of the agricultural regulations and limited export production. As we continued driving north, we could even see Lanzarote appearing on the horizon. And if you have extra time during your stay, you can actually take a ferry and explore Lanzarote as well, since it's located very close to Fuerteventura. Next up, the famous popcorn beach. And no, it's not actual popcorn. And now let's see the famous popcorn beach. Is it worth it? Let's go, let's find out. The beach is covered with tiny white coral fossils that look exactly like popcorn pieces. It's one of the most unique beaches I've ever seen. Just remember, even though many tourists take pieces home, removing them is not allowed because it damages the natural ecosystem. Alright, now the big test. Let's see if it actually tastes like popcorn. Hard. Crunchy, a little bit hard, but still good. Wow, amazing. Oh, seriously, don't try that. No, I'm just kidding. Nearby is El Cotillo, a relaxed surf town on the northwest coast. El Cotillo is known for its beautiful lagoons, amazing sunsets, and laid-back atmosphere. Compared to the south, the vibe here feels much more bohemian and surfer-oriented. Welcome to El Cotillo, one of the most beautiful beaches on Fuerteventura. And look at those houses, they're beautiful, wow! Sometimes I don't even know if I'm in Greece or in Spain. One of the highlights of northern Fuerteventura is Calderón Hondo, one of the best preserved volcanic craters on the island. The short hike to the top is definitely worth it because the panoramic views are incredible. From up there, you can really appreciate how volcanic and dramatic this island truly is. During our hike, we came across little fellows that kept us company during the entire hike. It's home to many little squirrels that inhabit this volcanic landscape. It's such a treat for the kids. Still a long way to go! We can make it, let's go! I can make it! I can make it, guys! Keep your thumbs up! And don't forget to see one of those traditional Spanish bells, like this one. On the way, we also passed several traditional Canarian windmills. These historic mills were once used to grind grain and became one of the symbols of Fuerteventura. Another amazing viewpoint is Mirador Corrales de Gize, where you'll find giant bronze statues of the ancient kings of Fuerteventura overlooking the valley. The scenery here is absolutely breathtaking. It's beautiful. On the way to Betancuria, don't forget to stop by at one of those mirador. Look at that. Then we continue towards Betancuria, the former capital of the island and one of the most beautiful villages in Fuerteventura. Surrounded by mountains, Betancuria feels almost hidden from the world. Its whitewashed houses, palm trees, and historic streets create a completely different atmosphere compared to the coastal towns. Close to Betancuria, there is a lovely little town called Vega de Dio Palmas, so don't forget to stop here. Nearby, Mirador de Betancuria offers another unforgettable panoramic view over the island's volcanic landscape. On the way, we stopped in Lajita, a small quiet village on the southern coast of Fuerteventura. Compared to some of the busier tourist areas, it felt much more relaxed and local. The promenade by the ocean is really peaceful with black volcanic sand beaches and views of the sea the whole way long. It's not a place with loads of attractions, but that's kind of the charm of it. Just a calm little village where life moves slower, with a few cafés, local restaurants, and a really authentic feel. Lajita is a lovely little town that is close to Morro Jable, so if you have time to explore, just take a little ride on the car and just experience it. And the beach is totally made out of the black sand, which is warm when you touch it. And that's the Black Beach. While we were in Lajita, we stopped at the Restaurante Ramon for a quick coffee break, and again we tried the traditional Canarian barraquito. Sitting there by the coast with the ocean breeze and a barraquito in hand was such a nice little moment after all the driving. The atmosphere felt super relaxed and local, and it was the perfect place to slow down and take in the quieter side of Fuerteventura.
Don't drive after that. It's really sweet, so you don't get any cookies to go with that.
Next, we made our way to Cofete Beach, and this was the place we were most excited to see in Fuerteventura. By getting there is definitely an adventure on its own. The drive takes around 45 minutes because the road is entirely gravel, and you really can't go very fast. Some parts are super narrow and uneven, and when another car comes the opposite way, it can get a little stressful trying to pass. At a few points, we were honestly questioning if we were even going the right way anymore. But the higher you get into the mountains, the more incredible the views become. First stop on the way to Cofete Beach. Don't miss this lookout. There are a few amazing viewpoints along the route where you can stop and look out over the coastline and the huge empty landscapes around you. It almost doesn't feel like Europe anymore. And then, eventually, you arrive at Cofete, and the first thing you notice is just how massive and untouched it feels. The beach goes on forever, with huge waves crashing onto the shore and mountains surrounding everything in the background. It feels really wild and remote compared to the more touristy parts of the island. Further up in the mountains, you can also see the Gustav Winter House, which has lots of stories and legends around it. We were hoping to visit it, but unfortunately it was closed the day we went. Even just seeing it from a distance though was pretty cool. Welcome to Cofete! One thing that completely surprised us was finding a small cemetery right near the beach. It felt so random and out of place in the middle of the huge empty landscape, but it actually adds to the mysterious atmosphere Cofete is known for. Even with the rough drive, Cofete was absolutely worth it and easily one of the most unforgettable places we visited in Fuerteventura.
Hi, it's Mike and it's our new hotel. We just got an upgrade. Let me show you all about it.
Before heading back home, we decided to spend one night a bit closer to the airport. That is why we have chosen to stay at El Bacasio San Jorge in Antigua, located in Caleta de Fueste. This part of the island has a completely different atmosphere compared to Morro Jable. It feels more like a holiday resort area, very relaxed, convenient, and perfect if you want to stay somewhere central while exploring Fuerteventura. Our accommodation had everything needed for a comfortable stay. There were spacious apartments with kitchen, living area, balcony, and swimming pool, surrounded by palm trees. The only thing is that the room needs renovation, but for one stay, it's totally fine. For our final evening in Fuerteventura before heading back home, we wanted to end up the trip somewhere with a great atmosphere and good food, so we decided to go to Fiesta Bar y Restaurante Mexicano. It turned out to be perfect choice for our last night on the island. The restaurant has a very cozy and lively atmosphere, especially evening when the lights come on and the whole area feels vibrant and relaxed. After days of road trips and exploring, here was the perfect place to slow down, enjoy the moment, and reflect on the entire adventure. Ending the trip with a relaxed dinner at Fiesta Bar y Restaurante Mexicano was the perfect goodbye to the island before flying back home the next day. While staying at the hotel, we checked out the local beach, and honestly, it wasn't really our vibe. The beach is super touristy, and instead of soft sand, it's mostly pebbles. Nice enough for a quick stop, but definitely not what we were looking for in Fuerteventura, especially having in mind the beach that we were on in Morro Jable, which was just perfect. Fuerteventura completely surprised us. It's wild, peaceful, authentic, and unlike anywhere else in Europe. If you love road trips, empty beaches, volcanic landscapes, and discovering places that still feel untouched, this island is definitely worth visiting. Thanks for joining us on this adventure, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Cheers, mates!